thank you for having me, having our film. I must say you are really lucky to have this very, very special festival every year, because I watched the menu, what you assembled this year, and again I have so many films I saw, and I wish you to come and see because they are great, and there are so many others. They are on my list to watch them. So I think you will have a very special week. I wanted to make this film for a long time. And finally, my previous film, On Body and Soul, which was in Berlin, became quite successful. And that's why we could make this film, rather expensive film. So it was my unique chance to use this slide gap and make something what was a long dream of me to make happen. And please, after the screening, if some of you are not too tired, to stay a bit and discuss a bit, because it is one of the first screenings, and for sure, the very first screening in Portugal. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. See you.
Thank you for staying. Don't you want to come a bit closer? Just to speak a bit together.
Ildiko, this is your first film you adapt from a book, because in the previous films they were all, so the scripts were scripts of your own. Why did you decide to adapt to make a film adapting a book, and this book especially because it's considered
it's a very, very good book. I just saw today the Portuguese translation. It's in the shops.
Yeah,
you can buy it, you can read it, and it's a very different experience, but I really adore this writer. I adore his way of thinking. So if someone saw the film, it doesn't spoil the novel at all. I am very much a bookish person, so I just advise it to you.
But there are things that we can see in other films of on Body and Soul. There was this reality mixed with dream, and here is the reality mixed with things, memoirs, things he remember, different layers. How did you work it? Is it so? Also, it's in the book, but it has also to do with your films.
I'm
This
too
labyrinth,
much.
this labyrinth.
I am too much inside the film to answer that. It is just in my life. I was very often the captain, and I was sometimes Lizzie. So I suppose most of us can relate to most of the questions raised by the film, I hope.
And there's also the question of control. Life is something you even if you try, it's impossible to control everything in your life. And we see also that in the film. Not even so. A captain in the sea, he knows that he cannot control what can happen, and we in our lives we cannot control all the things as we want, even if we try, if we are strong, but there are always things you cannot control.
Well, it's actually it's not just, but yeah, to speak theoretically about something they just watched is always a bit tricky. But somehow I don't think it's a sort of failure that we are not strong enough to control, but it's not a very effective approach. Mm-hmm. Actually, what we are doing with our globe, it shows that this approach is a failure. It's a very dangerous failure, and it can destroy actually the place where we live. So it's not to admit, okay, I can't do that. It would be good, but I can't control everything. It's just to change the perspective, or at least that's what I try to show at the end with this little narration when he speaks to an imaginary son, and that's how the film starts as well. It shows his journey, let's say, which is not an easy journey. It's not easy for any of us to change perspective. But somehow, if we manage, we can gain a lot.
You have a magnificent cast, and with the actors from different nationalities, cultures. So that's in Milan Fu's novel. There are people from different origins as well, and different languages. But so, and how did you do this cast? Because this actor who plays the Captain Store is incredible, and Lea Seydoux also. She's at the same time very attractive, vulnerable, mysterious. And he is strong and vulnerable too. And how did you find them?
Actually, it's always a key moment. I'm sorry, a key moment when you prepare a film to really feel that sort as a hunting dog. When you feel that this is the person and nobody else could play this role. I already had a Norwegian actor cast for the role of Jacob, and another French actress for Lizzie, because the original novel plays very much with those European archetypes, the cultural aura of each nationality. Even the names are very telling. If any of you speak French, Dédain is a very telling name also, played by Louis Garrel. So it's not by chance that Lizzie is not just French, but she's a Parisian lady, and the captain, a Dutch person. The novel is based vaguely on the myth of the Flying Dutchman, is from the north. And if you see the old limas of the Roman Empire, above that, the strict Protestant work ethic, that sort of pride of hard work and trustable, very, very transparent way of life, and underneath this big Catholic territory, or beer and wine. You can also divide Europe like that. And in Paris, what is represented not just by Lizzie, but also by Dédain, It's sort of effortless, easygoing, smart, witty, ironic attitude, what is something unattainable for the captain, what is so irritatingly different from him. So the novel is playing with them, and I found it also very telling for us, for Europeans. So anyway, going back to your original question, I had already a French actress and a Norwegian actor, and then I'm also teaching. I became really addicted to teach students, directing students, and one of my students made his diploma film, a short film, with an unknown Dutch guy. He's very well known in the Netherlands, also in theater. He's an excellent, very, very well trained actor, but not internationally. And I watched this guy. There he played something really different, a very mean, manipulative, and a bit disgusting porn producer. But somehow I felt in him this sort of charisma, what I was looking for. This sort of tenderness of the really strong people. And I was also his other performances. He's quite jumpy and boyish in other, and he plays a lot in comedies. But somehow I was sure that this, what you just saw on screen, is in him. And it's always a huge pleasure to offer an actor something what he or she never had the chance to show. And when I met Leah personally, I just immediately knew that's her, and I stepped back from the other actress. And somehow, I know it from her, but I had the same feeling that these colors she showed here are new for her. So it was also a pleasure to offer this to her, to make her able to show this side of her also to the audiences.
Mm-hmm. Well, questions from the audience.
So if the true love needs always a bit of storm, that only the calmness and the trust, because I don't know, you see like this lack of trust and lack of communication is always what keeps him crazy about this relationship. Like if this storm is really important for this true love that goes with you through life. I don't know.
No, I think the true love and the very full and complete life, the possibility of that was very, very close to Jacob, to the captain, all the time. But he was looking on the wrong way, and he was chasing something else. And even if it's too late, but somehow he understood it by Lizzie and thanks to Lizzie. So in a way, it happens sometimes that someone gives you a last lesson or a last help, a last present after death. So somehow she, in this story, at least that was my intention, she's a sort of secret teacher. And he just has to go down a spiral and lose all those tools what he had, which actually blocked him from a direct and total acceptance of the other person. So the last lesson he gets, the key lesson, he gets it after he realizes that she's already dead. She's not alive anymore. Yeah, it's a melodramatic big love story on one level, and a learning process of a rather clumsy guy, but well, I love him really much. I can sympathize with him a lot. Yes, please.
Thank you for your film. It's a fantastic film. I was wondering to know if the theme of jealousy was something important for you to speak about, to feel about, jealousy.
So some minutes ago we spoke about this question of control. And I think jealousy is a very, very human facet of this sort of control. What I don't mean a nasty controlling attitude when someone is using power against another human being. Just what we were taught from kindergarten, at home, in school, everywhere. You have to control your life. You have to control the other person. You have to control your environment. You have to plant the trees in a line and not just overall. Because somehow this hides from you that sort of very, very fearful, frightening perspective of the shortness of your life and the size of the universe. This is a really frightening perspective. So we try to make little order, but this order can never actually be complete. So we, even if we try, we will fail, and when we fail, we become neurotic, and then we desperately want to adjust everything, and it is assured from the start that it will be a failure. So somehow jealousy is one facet of that, because if we won't change perspective, if we are not totally in control of another person, we will feel that we are not accepted, that we are not alive, we have no place on earth. And it's painful, and it's very human that it's painful. So somehow what I found so deliberating and interesting and refreshing in this autumn when I read this novel the first time when I was a teenager is that just with a slight change of perspective, you can gain a lot. The world becomes more attainable. It is not anymore an enemy territory where you have to be alert in each moment, but you can rather be a small part of something bigger. And immediately, instead of doing a lot of things, you can become a harmonious part, and you can enjoy all the richness around you. So That's why for such a long time I thought that's worthwhile to make in a film.
Even if you find difficulties, because the subtitle, let's call it that, of the book, so you changed it a bit, so it's reminiscences of Captain Jacob's store, I guess, and you changed this word reminiscences to another floundering, which means
yes, because the novel is a sort of continuous reflection, self-reflection, remembering, reminiscences, and here we are not inside the captain. We are with him, but we are watching him. We are probably rooting for him, or I hope, but we are observing him, how he's losing his tools, his well-known ways of functioning, because before learning something new, you have to lose the old ones, which makes you comfort, which makes you so sure of yourself. But here there was a question, yeah.
I just wanted to ask how this movie came into being. Just you read the book when you were a teenager, you loved it, and then how you managed to.
Well,
the first question, the second question is about the lead actors. Were those two actors your first choice or a second choice, or what other actors you considered for lead roles? Or
that you answered already.
Yeah, I think I answered that. Yeah, but well, I made my first film I presented it in 1989, very, very long time ago. And I remember then I had already one version of the script. The first draft, I had it. And then I applied for the rights, and I didn't get it. And then 3 years later, when an option for someone else expired, I applied again, and I didn't get it. And then this guy got it for 6 years, so I waited again. For sure, meanwhile, I was making films. And then I just let it go. I thought, oh, come on, I can't just kill myself each time. I wanted to make this so passionately that it was, each time it was really painful. So I wrote a script. I thought the key of it, what is important for me in this novel, I will make it on my way in a story. It became a film, Simon the Magician, what I love very much, and I'm very glad that those young people who can watch it today, they seem to like it also. So then I buried this project for many years, and you know, you saw it, it's quite an expensive film. It was 10 million euros. Not expensive for certain directors, it's expensive for me. But in 2017, we made On Body and Soul, and it became quite successful, which meant that afterwards we had a slight chance to gather the money, and we could. And we had wonderful, wonderful co-producers from Italy, from Germany, zero money from the Netherlands, 3% from France, just to see that these are not co-production obligations, nothing at all. I really had any pressure from them. They are wonderful people, and it was a beautiful experience, not just to make the film, but it wasn't even with these wonderful guys. It wasn't so easy to gather all this money, and they were not just very nice with me, but they were very nice with each other. They trusted each other, they were loyal with each other, they helped each other out, because in each country there were some narrow moments with the cash flow and so on. And very recently, our line producer just monetized how much we spared and we could spend on screen because of the trust of these wonderful, decent people, and it's more than €500,000. So trust is a capital. Yes, please.
So all of your films, I believe, are your own original scripts. This was the exception, and obviously it was because it was a book that was so close to you. And my question to you was, can you imagine yourself in the future adapting another novel or another literary work, or do you believe that you'll just go back to writing original scripts? Maybe it's too soon to. Maybe it's just still. Maybe it's too soon.
I don't exclude it, but really, I love to read, and I think books are first of all for reading. That's one thing. The other is I'm quite old, and I have again and again new and new ideas. So, if I'm very lucky, I can make perhaps some of my own ideas, all of them what I would love to make. So I don't find it very probable. Here I really made a sort of exception because this novel, the writer is well known, is very revered in Hungary, it's translated to many languages, but somehow even in Hungary, many people just start a novel and they never finish. They find it heavy. Don't believe them, it's not heavy. And many people, even who read the novel, they misunderstand it, or in my opinion, they misunderstand. They just see just the love story, just the jealousy story, which is absolutely valid, and it's a powerful part of it. But what is behind, I think, is more important, and it's on every page of this novel. And I think I wanted to make a very positive film, and I think even if it's not a reunion at the end, it's something even more important than that happens with this guy. So I just wanted to transmit it.
In a certain way, it is. It's when he really accepts her as she is.
Yeah, I agree. Yes, please.
Hi. Well, first of all, congratulations. Wonderful film, wonderful. I'll be processing this for tonight and the next weeks. So,
thank you.
Well, a bit jet lagged, so I wouldn't be able to make any clever question, but there is something about the protagonist, is the way you build it. We root for him all the time because he's honestly trying. He's honestly trying.
Yes.
And then we I think there's something about the male role all over. And I don't know. I talked to my son. I have a son of 18 years old, and I see this from a long time ago, and I think that the film brings some hope about this male role, about the way men are trying to, the new generations. Is that your intention, was to bring hope in the end? Because, okay, it's not a reunion, but it's kind of a happy discovery for the captain.
Yes, you are right. I wanted to add a tiny footnote to this general discussion, a very positive and very, very necessary discussion about rewriting the roles and rewriting the way of communication in between sexes. I just really wanted to write a sort of love letter to all those wonderful men who are perhaps a bit perplexed today and insecure today. What the hell to do? How to behave? What would be right? And to reach out to them and tell that let's do it together, all together, and let's divide it, not male, female, but let's divide it, those who are open and can figure out, and figuring out something new is never so easy, and it's always bumpy, and there are backlashes and so on, but let's do it together. Yeah, that was my intention, because there are so wonderful men in my life. There is my son, for example. Well, at the last phase, you see the whole film as a whole many times. Just when you check the whole grading, the several steps of the sound post-production. Well, it's the first real experience was in Cannes, and I'm very happy that quite a lot of people from the crew, wonderful friends, they could be there. And that was a very, very strong experience, because it's not the applause at the end, because they applaud everything, but it's rather the laughters, the silences. So we could feel that that the room was with us, that the film worked, functioned, and that was a huge relief and a beautiful evening. Okay, I think you are really heroic to keep until.
Well,
okay. Could you please tell us what are you working on right now? What is the next project?
I'm writing 2 scripts. Actually, one is it's about humans, but one of the protagonists is a tree. And the title is Silent Friend. I hope to be able to bring it once.
Again here. Well, I think we have to go. You have a plane to catch very early in the morning. Thank you, Ildiko, for being here with us. Thank you all. Enjoy the rest of the day.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.